세상에서 가장 비싼 강연자로 알려진 토니로빈스, 세미나의 금액은 최소 4천만 원에서 수억 원을 넘어가는 멘토링을 진행하지만 그럼에도 불구하고 수많은 사업가, 기업가들은 부와 성공의 비밀을 배우기 위해 줄을 섭니다. 이번 영상은 그가 진행한 세미나의 원본 영상을 여러분과 함께 나누기 위해 리에디션으로 준비했습니다. 영상의 끝 여러분의 다짐을 댓글로 나눠주세요.
Know why you want it and take massive action. You're now in the most small percentile of people on the planet. Do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's called insanity. Because your brain is like a servo mechanism in a bomb, as an example. When they send a missile out,
혹시 궁극적 성공의 공식이 존재한다고 생각하시나요? 성공의 방법에 공식이 있다는 게 믿기 힘드실 겁니다. 하지만 오늘의 영상에선 수많은 억만장자를 만나오고 또 새로운 억만장자들을 만든 최고의 마인드 코치 토니 로빈스가 직접 그가 찾은 궁극적 성공의 공식을 설명합니다.
ultimate success formula. What this is based upon is something very fundamental. And that is that people who succeed in any situation have a pattern of what they do to succeed. And it doesn't matter whether that person is succeeding in a business context or in a relationship context. It doesn't matter what the environment is. The fundamental lessons or laws for succeeding are very, very basic. So if we're looking for the ultimate success formula, the very first thing we have is know your outcome. It's hard to succeed, hard to hit a target when you don't know what it is. And as simplistic as this sounds, do most people really know what they want? What do you think, yes or no? At least not consciously they don't, right? And so it's gonna be very, very difficult to achieve what you want when you haven't defined it. So you'll say, what's my outcome first? Then you begin to decide what you need to do to get the outcome. So in this case, we want to say, what's your outcome? You want to make it a habit to ask this question a lot. Do I want to connect? Do I want to influence this person? Do I want to learn something? What's your outcome? So very, very few people know what they want. And the more clear you can get about what you want, the more you can really achieve. So you might write underneath this is the subset of number one, still number one, just write clarity is power. Because your brain is like a servo mechanism in a bomb, as an example. When they send a missile out, it has a servo mechanism. It knows what the target is, and when the target moves, it follows it. Well, your brain is very similar. For example, have you ever bought a particular car maybe, or maybe a certain outfit, and then all of a sudden you see that car or outfit everywhere? Well, was that car or outfit already around you all the time? Yeah, but you didn't notice it because there's a portion of your brain that is responsible for one thing, and that is screening out 99% of what you see, hear, and feel in life. You pay attention to a small number of things. It's called the reticular activating system. For short, it's called RAS. Tells your brain what to pay attention to. And a lot of times people say, it's amazing. I decided this and it was kind of, synchronicity. These things started popping up. Well, these things were probably around you before, but you never noticed them because you hadn't decided your outcome. Now, when you know your outcome, you're ahead of 95% of the population, but that's not enough. The second thing you gotta know is a lot of times you know your outcome, but you lose your drive, which is know why you want it. You got to know the purpose, because any person successful, really successful, knows exactly what they want and they know why. The reason you got to know why is, remember I said yesterday, reasons come first, answers come second. If you get enough reasons, you can get a big enough why, you can figure out how to do about anything, but you got to have purpose, because purpose provides drive. Now, if you know what you want and you know why, you're light years ahead of most of the population, but you got to go the step that most people seem to avoid. And that is, you got to take massive action. Can be a cure-all when you know what you're after and you know why you want it. Because when you know what you're after, when you take action, you won't just be expending energy. You'll be moving yourself in a direction towards something you really, really want. And what stops people from taking action? Primarily what? Fear. And the way you get over that fear is, what do you think is the number one fear most people have? Failure. And the reason is they feel if they fail, they won't be loved. They'll be rejected. They'll be hurt, they'll be judged. Failure will lead to that rejection or loss of love. The truth of the matter is, you can't fail unless you don't try. If you try something that doesn't work, you just learn from it, and that'll make you better the next time you go about it. Now, if you know your outcome, know why you want it, and take massive action, you're now in the most small percentile of people on the planet. So what's the next step though? Well, you can take a lot of action, is you gotta know what you're getting. The word we use for this is, for short, you wanna become acutely sensitive to whether what you're doing is working or not. You don't want to just say, okay, I know what I want, I know why I want it, I'm just going to make it happen, this is how I'm going to do it. You keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it, doing something that doesn't work. And people do this all the time, right? Do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's called insanity. But we get caught up in our patterns. So we want to get really sensitized, acutely sensitized, sensory acuity, to whether what we're doing is working or not. What happens if you notice it's not working? You're taking action, but it's not getting you closer to your outcome. What's the obvious fifth step? The fifth step is change your approach. If what you're doing, your acuity says, is not working, change it. And what if you tried that and it didn't work? Then what would you do? What if after all that it still doesn't work? What do? How many times? Until you find out what works. Do not say to yourself, I've tried everything. That's bull. If you tried everything, you'd have what you want. But when we start saying, I've tried everything, we tend to incant that, don't we? We make it an incantation, and then we believe it. And since we think we've tried everything, we just give up. It's garbage, not true. Hey, let me ask you a question. How long would you give your average baby to learn how to walk? You know, before you shut them off and didn't let them try anymore. My kid's gonna keep trying until he or she walks. Ah, magic formula. You know, almost everybody in the whole world walks. I mean, corny example, Thomas Edison, these lights in here. Did this guy know his outcome, yes or no? He was absolutely clear without knowing the outcome. He couldn't have built that in a million years. It didn't exist before. He had to decide he wanted to create this result without the use of candles. Did he know why he wanted to do it? You bet. Did he take massive action, yes or no? Oh yes, tens of thousands of experiments. Did he notice when it wasn't working and learn from it, yes or no? Did he keep changing his approach? Now, if you know the old story of him, it's written about him in his early days. He says he's got his best friend with him. He's doing this experiment, and as he's doing it, he creates a small explosion, which shakes the room, scares both of them very, very severely. And then at the end of that, he gets up, and his friend is totally shaken, freaked out. He pulls out his journal, and he starts writing. And his buddy says to him, what's the matter with you, insane? You almost killed us. So you're gonna wait till you have 10,000 failures before you give this stupid idea up? And Edison's response to him was, I didn't have a failure there. He goes, that's your 9,999th failure. He said, no, it's not. He said, I discovered the 9,999th way not to invent the electric light bulb. But I did discover how to create a small explosion which may be useful in the future somewhere else. Interesting, right? Because he understood what this process was. But he knew what he wanted. He had all the drive you can imagine, knew why he wanted, took massive action, kept changing his approach until he got what he wanted.
토니로빈스의 5가지 성공 공식, 분명 영상을 보고도 직접 행동하는 분들은 극소수일 거라고 생각합니다. 그리고 이건 그 극소수인 바로 당신을 위한 영상이었습니다. 처음부터 쉽진 않을 테지만 그 끝에 웃고 있을 당신을 위해 지금 시작하세요.